right? And what is a coach? It's a mentor. It's somebody who has to get others to do things that they may not otherwise do at a level that they may never have even thought or dreamed of. Talk for a second about your military career and some of those lessons that you take as a coach now.
Oh, man. Well, I think the very first thing for me, and bear with me here a little bit, but, coming from a military family, growing up outside of Fort Drum, New York, my father served, my brother served, and 9/11
It's about the only thing going on up there.
Yeah. We played a good brand of lacrosse up there, though, I will say that. But with that being said, 9/11 happens, felt like I needed to do something. I was in college. I went and joined. And the first time you stand in a formation and you've got that American flag on your right shoulder, it hits you right between the eyes. And that's what hit me, where being part of something bigger than yourself is almost undescribable. You have to teach that. You have to buy that. You have to believe in that. And it becomes an honor. And I think that's one of the things I always tell our guys is, like, you're getting to put on a jersey that says the California Redwoods. You're representing a sport way bigger than yourself, and that's powerful. And years ago, I talked to the team in 2019 about you're somebody's why. And when you're a pro athlete and it's bigger than you, serving in a military, serving in a unit, that was like the very first lesson I learned right away. And then along the way, when you get into the instructor's piece, teaching how to throw hand grenades, like, you got to be very specific on all the little details. Because if you don't, we were joking earlier, but the Army goes with the lowest bidder sometimes, and you got to be on point. You can't have a mistake. You can't make a mistake. And if you do, it could cost your buddy their chance of going home to their family. And when you put it in perspective that way, it's a game changer. So you have to pay really close attention to those little details. And that's the difference between winning and losing, right? And on the game field. And I tell our guys, I don't like playing our game to going to war or preparing soldiers to go into battle, because we get to come home every game. But I understand that correlation, and it is extremely important to do those little things right and to do it with a purpose that's bigger than yourself. And so you hear those cliches all the time. We feel those. We know what that means when you get ready to go into theater or getting guys ready, trained up to go to theater. You got to be on point. And those are some of the biggest lessons that, I've learned that I really bring into coaching quite a bit.
I want to ask you about player development.
Yeah.
Because when we look at the PLL player, you have this, what I would say, this awesome combination of someone who has a tremendous amount of skill. I say they've got, the skill of a hockey player with their reaction time and their stick handling. They've got the endurance of a soccer player.
Yep.
They got the physicality of a football player. And you got to put them out there, and they're competing at such a high level, and it's so fast. How do you approach player development? And as you've seen the evolution of the player over the last couple of decades, what have you seen?
Yeah, and I think, the first thing that you approach in player development at this level is you really have to be on your game. Like, I coach in the college level, and it's like a bigger margin of error. Like, you can take your time. There's a learning curve there. Here, you don't get a lot of time. You get a TV timeout during the game. You talk to them during the week. You might get a couple seconds here and there, and it's just got to be – it's a quick point. And I think one thing that these young people need to realize, and people in general, are, yes, these are the best in the game, the best in the world, the best to do it. They want that feedback. They relish that. They want to know. They want to be held accountable. They want to know what they got to do to be better. And here, the margin is so small. It literally could just be a little thing of turning the right way when you pick up a ground ball, or, understanding the read, like, hey, they're on your hands, you can throw the skip through, or it's, hey, just keep this thing simple. Move the ball forward and stay in the fight. So, like, those little details, coaching these guys up, there's not a lot of form checking you got to do at this level. It's more of, valuing the ball, when they can take a chance, when you want them to go be a player, go make a play, or when it's, hey, let's jab here. We don't need to throw a haymaker right now. Like, just get in the middle of the ring and let's throw some jabs here and make the simple play. And, that's the development piece, because they all are alphas. They're all the best, and they all think whenever the game gets tight, I can make this play. I'm going to make this play. And that's when it's really harping on that first lesson I learned in the military. It's bigger than you. And none of these guys are selfish. They just are the best. They're going to make plays. They've hit so many game-winning shots, made so many game-winning saves, defensive stops, face-offs, that you almost have to contain that a little bit and to have them trust in the system that you're running. So I think those player developments, the in-game development, it's you got to be on point, and there's not a lot of it, so you got to make sure it's a quick point and you don't beat it to death.